Hi everyone, this is Shantae, aka Shantizi on Twitter and Instagram, or just simply just Shantae Berry. So I am here with another episode of called Shantae's Analysis. Well, hashtag Shantae's Analysis. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at I am Shantizi, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Shantae Berry. So I'm going to bring you some COVID numbers, and of course, this is our daily situation until this virus lets up. So according to the Johns Hopkins University of Medicine website, global confirmed cases are at 59,679,996. That's the number. The global death toll is 1,407,873. Here at home in the U.S., we have over 12,589,229 cases of COVID. The U.S. death toll is at 259,880. And as of today, the United States saw over 169,000 new infections. So the new cases are particular number as of November 24th, and yes, and the worst is still ahead, is 169,190. So that's according to the Johns Hopkins website. You go coronavirus.jhu.edu. That's the website. Now I'm going to bring the numbers for the states, the United States individually, under the New York Times COVID map, and you can subscribe to that for free, and also the Washington Post as well, just for COVID only. So according to the New York Times COVID map, Texas is leading in the amount of cases at 1,204,123, followed by California at 1,151,445. Florida is halfway the million mark, and it will be the third state to reach over a million cases at 953,292. Illinois is at 675,543. It's been only a couple days they reached the 600s, and they're already about to be at 700,000 cases. They're close to the million mark as well. New York has 611,756, followed by Georgia, 438,441. Wisconsin has 386,441. Ohio has 371,908. Michigan has 347,076, which they surpassed North Carolina. And North Carolina rounds out that top 10 with 343,566. So coronavirus is looking real, but there's some other places that the coronavirus is really bad at, and I'm just going to bring some attention. Like Iowa is seeing, no, Minnesota is seeing a number of cases, and Missouri is about to reach 300. They had 292,799. Minnesota's at 282,973. They're really in the dark red. Iowa's another place at 216,160. Colorado is at 207,882. Who's also in the red is Utah, 182,121. Kansas is also another place in the red at 145,186. Some of these places got Republican legislators, some Democratic governors, but Republican legislators. So they've been like putting out laws to overturn the executive orders of the governors. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's crazy. Nebraska is another place, which is not that big, 115,921. Thank you, Donald Trump, for putting a super spreader event there. And South Dakota, North Dakota. South Dakota is seeing 74,859, followed by North Dakota, which is not too far, 74,407. But the difference and the contrast in the messaging of the governor of North Dakota is pretty much, he's basically like putting people on a lockdown, while the governor of South Dakota is like, fuck it. Celebrate your Thanksgiving. Even though members of the CDC was like, But I won't be surprised that the whole country will see a new rising of infections. And as I said, we have no national plan. The Republican Senate is on break, which I don't understand. The asses need to be in Washington throughout this whole time. Um, Mitch McConnell don't give a fucking damn about coronavirus relief. They're going to discuss something next Monday, and most likely it won't be a very skinny bill. No, most likely it will be a skinny bill, excuse me. And it won't benefit the American people. And as I'm watching the news today, and in my city, in New York, I did not know there was a food insecurity problem. I thought it was out west and Midwest, but apparently it's here too and all over the country. There was a lady that was getting her turkey, and she said if she wasn't able to go on the food lines at Thanksgiving, she wouldn't have no Thanksgiving or wouldn't have food for the holidays in general. But of course, the COVID super spreader in chief, aka the Queen Sewer Rat, aka the New York con artist, is in his feelings about losing the election. Instead of negotiating with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer about COVID relief. Blaming the Democrats for everything, which the Democrats actually been doing the work, even though they need to stand up a little more. I wish they would have the balls to stand up a little bit more. But the Democrats has been the ones basically fighting for the American people, no matter who they voted for, to get relief. And of course, Donald Trump, within his last days, he can at least show a little dignity. I can't say be presidential because he will never be, but a little bit of dignity and be like, hey, we need some COVID relief. But who am I and who is me, as I always say, when it comes to people doing their job. But speaking of this White House, which they always make dumbass decisions every day since they've been in there the last 4 years, they plan to pardon Michael Flynn, according to CNN News. You want to pardon a whole criminal who pleaded guilty for conspiring with Russian adversaries? Our Russian adversaries? Are you fucking stupid? But then again, this is Donald Trump. Donald Trump always surrounded himself with a bunch of crooks. And he's been doing that before he even approached the White House. He's been doing that since, hell, before I was born. I was born in 1986. This man was doing this since the 1970s. He did it with the 80s, with the Gambino family, with the casinos and everything. He was a whole entire bona fide cheese eater. So when he gets mad at other people telling on him in Congress, this man is contradicting himself because he was a bona fide cheese eater. He was an informant to the FBI back in the day to avoid that jail time. He didn't want to go to Rikers. They probably would have raped that ass. I'm just saying. But this is what he's doing and playing golf instead of talking about the coronavirus and at least try to get the virus down. But thank God we have Biden and Harris, the transition, and they spoke today, and honestly, it was awesome. And it was refreshing to hear an actual administration that is experienced. So I want to play some stuff because I just feel like, I was at good ease hearing them. So who starts off by talking? Let's see. Linda Greenfield, who was nominated to be the next ambassador to the United Nations, a career diplomat herself, spoke today, and she spoke with empathy. So I want to play this clip.
Service across, Mr. President-elect, I've often heard you say how all politics is personal, and that's how you build relationships of trust and bridge disagreements and find common ground. And in my 35 years in the Foreign Service across 4 continents, I put a Cajun spin on it. I called it gumbo diplomacy. Wherever I was posted around the world, I'd invite people of different backgrounds and beliefs to help me make a roux and chop onions for the Holy Trinity and make homemade gumbo. It was my way of breaking down barriers, connecting with people, and starting to see each other on a human level, A bit of lagniappe is what we say in Louisiana. That's the charge in front of us today. The challenges we face, a global pandemic, the global economy, the global climate change crisis, mass migration and extreme poverty, social justice, are unrelenting and interconnected, but they're not unresolvable if America is leading the way.
And that was very refreshing. Very refreshing to hear from an actual foreign diplomat who has 35 years. I'll be 35 next year. But 35 years of experience working with different diplomats across the world. Because this administration lacks experience. I mean, look who is a resident at 1600 Black Lives Matter Plaza. Another clip from John Kerry, who will be the climate SARS, I guess that's how you say it. And he always been an advocate for climate change and for LGBTQIA rights and for people's rights. He's one of the progressives on the thing. So when progressives get like, anyone made progressives, there's John Kerry.
And you're right to recognize no country alone can solve this challenge. Even the United States, for all of our industrial strength, is responsible for only 13% of global emissions. To end this crisis, the whole world must come together. You're right to rejoin Paris on day one. And you're right to recognize that Paris alone is not enough. At the global meeting in Glasgow 1 year from now, all nations must raise ambition together, or we will all fail together. And failure is not an option.
And we need to get back into the Paris Climate Accord because we've been having strange and unusual weather, and it's not good. I mean, we had like an extended Indian summer in October, and it really get cold towards the end of October, and then we had a warm shift. We had 72-degree weather in November. It was freaking weird, dude. Never saw this weird shit in my life. Around this time, I will be wearing a peacoat. A peacoat and some boots or some sneakers. And that's not happening. It's like I'm wearing a fur, like bubble-ish coat today, and then tomorrow I'm going to be wearing a jean jacket. That makes no goddamn sense. So kudos. And then Joe Biden spoke, and then I'm going to play the clip that Kamala spoke as well.
Can make sure climate change is on the agenda in the Situation Room. For the first time ever, we'll have a presidential envoy on climate. And as for the man himself, if I had a former Secretary of State who helped negotiate the Paris Climate Accord, or a former presidential nominee, or a former leading senator, or the head of a major climate organization for the job, it would show my commitment to the United States and the whole world. The fact that I picked the one person who is all of these things speaks unambiguously to my commitment. The world would know that with one of my closest friends, John Kerry, he's speaking for America on one of the most pressing threats of our time.
Yes, and our house is filled with bums, rats, roaches. We don't want them back in New York, though. We want them like down south. They don't need to come back to New York. No. Donald Trump can stay his ass in Florida. He could take his fucking children with them, his wife, whatever. If she wants to go with him, they could get the fuck out of our city. Seriously. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this administration to come in. I'm like deeply excited. But I would like to play the video from Kamala Harris, because she was awesome today when she spoke. And she spoke truth.
About his commitment to making sure we selected a cabinet that looks like America, that reflects the best of our nation. And that's what we have done. Today's nominees and appointees come from different places. They bring a range of different life and professional experiences and perspectives. And they also share something else in common, an unwavering belief in America's ideals, an unshakable commitment to democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. And they understand the indispensable role of America's leadership in the world. These women and men are patriots and public servants to their core. And they are leaders, the leaders we need to meet the challenges of this moment and those that lie ahead.
Yes, the cabinet needs to look like what America looks like. Representation is important. Also with experience, that is level-headed, and that will not be subservient to their leaders, but serve the country at its best. You need people to learn how to do their fucking jobs, basically. That's what we want to call it. We don't need people to be just one ideal. You need people with different views. That's what you need. But I think there's a clip of the Joe Biden and Lester Holt interview. And it's like you want to agree, but certain things is like, yeah, okay. But it's just like, what the hell? But I don't know if I have a clip of it, but hold on.
NBC's Lester first since today.
Okay, the clip is not there, but pretty much Joe Biden doesn't mind having different point of views, even a Republican in there. But if he's going to have a Republican in there, he should have Colin Powell. Because Colin Powell, even though with that time with that weapons of mass destruction, Colin Powell, you know, supported Democratic candidates. You don't need a John Kasich in there who have voter suppression laws against the people in the state of Iowa. And for Democrats, you don't need Rahm Emanuel in there. Because honestly, besides with the Laquan McDonald thing, he didn't really say many nice things about Kamala Harris. So he got 2 strikes against him. He got the strike against him with the Laquan McDonald murder cover-up. And he has the strike against him about Kamala Harris. So we don't need that dust bunny in the administration. And no administration, whether it's Democratic or Republican, nope. Keep your ass out of administrations. You continue your career on ABC News like you do, giving the weak-ass commentary like you do. And even though your brother serves on the COVID-19 transition task force, he don't need to be in no administration either. Keep him out of it too. Just because he's associate, y'all got the same last name. And I'm just going to leave it as that. But onward to the progressive wing of the party, who continue to complain about Joe Biden's cabinet, like half of them supported Joe Biden's campaign or campaigned for Joe Biden. They always have a lot to say. Even Joe Biden himself, even though he got elected almost 3 weeks ago, they still got that smoke for him, but don't got that smoke for the GOP, who is not doing anything about the coronavirus. No, they don't have that smoke for him. And some of them even got that smoke from me, a regular chick on the internet from New York City. So this woman, Lisa Marie Atkin, came for yours truly. That's right, Shantae Berry been attacked by the progressives day 2. So let me just pull this shit up because I'm sick of this bullshit. So Lisa Marie Atkin is a humanitarian activist, defender of truth, volunteer leader, and precinct captain for Bernie's 2020 campaign. That's on her profile. She says she's a Black Lives Matter person. She has Black Lives, like she's really Black Lives Matter, Medicare for all, and equality for all. Yeah, whatever. She commented on a video that I posted yesterday about being attacked by numerous of white progressives, especially white progressive men. And when I was attacked by these white progressive men, she proceeded to basically come for me and tried to tell me about the crime bill and how Joe Biden is only responsible, like Bernie did not vote for the crime bill. And keep in mind, I am no defender of nobody. Joe Biden was wrong. He was on the wrong side of history on a couple of legislation, drafting and bills and passing. But at least he was real about his shit. Bernie got away and not say anything and was like, oh yeah, I was wrong. And everybody just forgives Bernie. But you don't forgive the person, Biden, who acknowledged his wrongs and acknowledged that there is systemic racism, unlike Bernie Sanders. Yeah, okay. That wishy-washy white progressivism shit. So, here we go. She said liberals are blue MAGA. So I said, what? Who's blue MAGA? I'm not blue MAGA. I'm not deplorable. So I don't know what you're talking about. And then she told me, I meant to tweet this and say that you are entitled to your own opinions, but not your own facts. There is a difference. Who, bitch? What? Me? Huh? So I said, who are you talking to like this? You don't get to tell me what I'm entitled to. Who do you think you are? I was being honest and civil with disagreement with your opinions. But you left this like taking it there. So I took it there with her. I put a video of Joe Biden acknowledging systemic racism. I posted a video where Joe Biden acknowledged that he was white privileged. Then I posted a full video of Joe Biden apologizing for the crime bill at the ABC town hall. And then I told her going forward, don't ever tell me what I am entitled to say. Wagwan, Queen Lion. So she says me, text of the conversation, laugh out loud. Y'all nuts. And it takes perfect sense since the entire conversation has been about everyone in your cult refusing to acknowledge the fact that the crime bill. Did I say that before? I don't know if I said that before. She said that the crime bill whatever she said, I can't even look at that because my eyes is weary. But this is what she said to me. This is what I said to her. Cult? Definitely not a cult. What a cult is these disgruntled, quote unquote, progressives who call themselves such but are not inclusive. I just gave you facts on Joe Biden's stances and his acknowledgement of systemic racism. He was wrong about the crime bill. However, he apologized. The question is, where's Bernie's apology? He voted for the crime bill. You have all this smoke for people that supported Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Why not press your guy about voting for the crime bill? Voting for the bill. Please ask him why he has a hard time talking about race. And why does he passes about the question race off to black staffers, which is true because there's videos of that. And if you can't answer my question, then there's nothing to further discuss. Thank you. I thought she would learn from there, but obviously she didn't. So she said to me, you seriously should seek out the answers before commenting. I just gave you facts. Bernie acknowledged it was more than a decade ago. She showed no proof. Joe finally did that last year after being hounded to apologize. Bernie also heralded, hurrah, Barbara Lee for voting against it. I said this to her. Where is it? Once again, this woman does not know how to talk to black women. Please talk to me right. So she did not, hey, thank you. So she did not learn again, like a typical white woman. He passes off. I will say freely that I wish Bernie spoke more about what he would do for the black community rather than in broad terms, but that's neither here nor there. My question is, what is your definition of progressive? She tried to John Bolton me like he did to Sonny today on The View. So I say this. Since you want to John Bolton my ass like he did to Sonny on The View, here's the definition of progressivism and what it means to be a progressive. So I said progressivism is a noun, according to the Google Dictionary, is support for advocacy or social reform. To be a progressive, according to the dictionary website, progressive is an adjective, is favoring or advocating progress, change, improvement, or reform, as opposed to wishing to maintain things as they are, especially in political matter and progressive manner. 2, making progress towards better conditions, employing or advocating for more enlightened or liberal ideas, new or experimental methods, etc. A progressive community. 3, characterized by the such progressive or by continuous improvement. 4, of or relating to any of the progressive parties in politics. Now, I say Bernie Sanders may be a champion for progressive change, but he is only for white people, which is true. He can champion for progressive plans for, progressive plans for black people, black and brown people, but it has to start with acknowledging racism, and it's true. To understand there's systemic racism in our country. Lastly, we have identity politics to address issues that affect marginalized communities, especially black and brown communities. That includes systemic racism in our institutions. When you try to insult my intelligence, right there speaks volume to your character. I'm wondering, are you a progressive? What does it mean for you to be a progressive? And as I mentioned, your behavior is capital not progressive. So I guess that friendly exchange, she conceded the argument. So I guess the white progressive will always be white progressing. So that was part of my afternoon with these white progressives of the Bernie wing of the party. They have all this smoke for Democrats like me, the black Democrat, aka the establishment, but they don't direct their energy to any Republicans. People like Addison Mitchell McConnell Jr., Lindsey Olin Graham, Marco Rubio, Rafael Edward Cruz, aka Ted Cruz, or Donald John Trump, the Queen Sewer Rat. No, they have no smoke for them, but got all this motherfucking smoke for me. I don't understand why. But I had time today because I start my new job next Tuesday. So I had, and I got a job. Hopefully, I got a job. So I will be starting next Tuesday. So I had all the time in the world today to get these progressives as I was straightening up my house. So, Miss Atkins, since you blocked me, and you're not going to see this live because you probably mute me, bitch. I hope it was worth arguing with me. See, you thought that I was going to concede to you, but you end up conceding to me. Thank you, Queen Lion. You conceded to me, and you conceded to me because I came at you with facts. I didn't curse you out. I didn't call you a white bitch. I didn't call you any deplorable name. But you called the people that was you arguing, you called them blue MAGA. But you blocked me because I told the truth. Because I went in full context. I did what is called research. Something you will never do. You thought I wasn't educated. You're wrong, bitch. I'm in grad school. Hopefully I stay in grad school. Hopefully I got a good grade on my project, which I didn't look at my grade yet. I am nervous as hell. Hello. But people like that are used to dealing with ignorant black people. That's how they got some, not all, ignorant black people support Bernie Sanders, but you got like a smidget, like a good 10 or 20% that support Bernie that don't read. And you got some that do read. So she thought I did not know how to read. No, I know how to read. And I'm well smart. I may like mess up on like sometimes when I'm typing, I type so fast that sometimes I forget to add a word in my sentence or mess up a word, but God damn it, I'm smart. And I know all the racial dog whistles. So, to Miss Atkins, I hope it was motherfucking worth it. So you can take your suburban, I'm an ally for black people, dumb shit, and shove that shit up your motherfucking ass. And direct that to the wrong black people because you technically got a taste of what a real black woman is when you are fucking with one that is smart. If I made sense in that sentence. But she fucked with the wrong one. So I'll see which other one will fuck with me tomorrow. Because there's always some bullshit with them. But I don't let them ruin my day. Because I go about my day. I went for my walk. I got my coffee and came back in my house and did my workout. And straightened out more of my house. And got ready because I'm going to see my mom on Thursday. Uptown in the Bronx. So there you have it. But until then, folks, it is 12:16. And I think I went on long by like 30 minutes. But you all have a good night and stay safe. If you're traveling for Thanksgiving, which I personally want you to stay home, but if you are, I can't tell people what to do. Wear a mask around your family and keep your distance and don't hug them. And wash your hands. And make sure you bring your own little personal disinfecting wipes for the plane and for travel reasons, for home. Okay? So, wear your mask, wash your hands, keep your distance. Have a good night, guys.